The current postseason format served as a way to improve on the shortcomings of those before it. In actuality, it just led to copium from the fans who said X team should have made it in because Y team fell on the dance floor. Want proof? Let's look at this year's iteration.
Game over.
As someone who was born in the state of Indiana, I was skeptical on how they would fare in the postseason. They had a charming-like schedule, weren't battle-tested, and had a head coach that was too cocky for their own good. All of that skepticism would be laid to rest as Notre Dame just ran all over the team. This is why records don't mean a damn thing. The strength of schedule is so disproportionate, and it showed in this game. You'll score some garbage time points to give the illusion that the game was closer than it actually was. Back to being irrelevant.
Game over.
The Pony Express has officially been derailed. This right here is simply the case of the lights being brighter than expected. As this game was played 4 days before Christmas, Kevin Jennings must have done some last-minute Christmas shopping with all the gifts he was handing the Nittany Lions. The defense would continue to torment you throughout the entire game. This putrid performance just adds fuel to Alabama fans saying that it should have been them in the playoffs instead of you guys. Maybe don't lose to Vanderbilt in Oklahoma next time, yeah?
Game over.
We have finally discovered that the magical horseshoe shoved up Clemson's ass lost its magic. Thanks, Miami. They started off the game strong and got on the board first and proceeded to do the night-night celebration. Is there something I'm missing? Don't you do this at the end of games when a win is all but assured? What the fuck? Texas certainly was like, nah, screw that, not in our house, and decided it was time to wake up in the second quarter. From then on, it was uneventful. Clemson was just dominated up front, allowing Texas to rush for 292 yards on the day. At least Dabo is finally going to use the transfer portal, so take this as a net positive.
Game over.
At least the fans showed up. Someone should have mentioned to the Vols that if they lost this game, their season would be over. They got ass blasted. It didn't help that Dylan Sampson got injured early, but quite frankly, it wouldn't have changed the complexion of this game. Watching this team play is about as fun as slamming your hand in a car door. The passing offense? Flaccid. The defense? Has the vision of Stevie Wonder. Good analogy since the Ohio State receivers were just allowed to do whatever they wanted out there. Lane Kiffin, where ya at? Might want to stop whining before it's too late. Just ask Florida State fans, they would understand.
Game over.
Oh, looky here, we got Penn State beating up on another horse team. As much as I wanted to see Boise State pull off the upset, the reality is that their chances of losing were about as likely as a Christian chick getting married by the age of 25. The Penn State defense kept Genty Ball in check and watched as Boise State self-emulated and trying to find a more unfamiliar solution to their offensive woes. People are gonna say that Boise State was overrated and didn't belong because fans haven't been saying the same thing to literally every other team that lost before them, but this team is one to remember. Keep your heads up, y'all did a great job this year.
Game over.
My god, what the hell was this game? This looked like something straight out of Saturday Night Live. What looked to be an easy victory for Texas turned into a game which took about 50 years off the fan base's life. At least we finally got to see a competitive game in these playoffs. Only took 6 games, but better late than never. Why not up the ante on things by missing a go-ahead field goal? Rest assured this won't happen again. They don't look concerned. They're probably talking about what they'll order at Texas Roadhouse after the game is over. You've toyed with Arizona State enough, just put the game away.
Does he have it?
Holy shit!
Of course you fucking had to miss it again. You bums deserve to lose after that fourth quarter meltdown. Arizona State would march and score a touchdown to kick things off in overtime, and with Texas in rough field position, this game looked to be over. But I forgot to mention that Arizona State wanted to give the game away as well. Because why the hell would you call a blitz on a 4th and 13? What in the world are you doing? You had the opportunity to do the funny, but your ineptitude got the best of you. A scataboo masterclass and memorable season have been lost in the shadows. Why can't we have nice things?
Game over.
Who's ready for my famous charred duck?
Like, to check the mascot first before bringing food to a tailgate.
Fuck!
Oregon, we need to talk. You might be most known for having about 50 different jerseys each season, but you know what else you are known for? Not showing up when the season is on the line. The Oregon defense could have stopped this Ohio State receiving corps, but nah, we're just chill guys. A 34-0 start for the Buckeyes means the Ducks can kiss their championship ambitions goodbye. Gabriel got sacked 8 times and the team had negative 23 rushing yards as a unit. You sitting on the couch had more rushing yards than these wankers. That's all that needs to be said. Ohio State moves on and looks to be the team to beat from here on out. Do y'all still want Ryan Day fired? Just asking for a friend.
Game over.
I'm sure this was the outcome that most people were hoping for. This game for the Bulldogs was just a complete team implosion. The rushing attack was non-existent, the defense was piss poor, the receivers couldn't catch for shit, and the lack of discipline was evident. You can tell yourself that Carson Beck would have changed the complexion of this game, even though it's been scientifically proven that dating a Cavender twin lowers your overall by 20 points. Get real for a second. Notre Dame literally had to just not make mistakes and they were set. Riley Leonard didn't even need to throw more than 100 yards, that's how bad things got. Funny how all 4 teams that got the bye lost in their first match of these playoffs. Could this be the beginning of the end for Georgia? Probably not, but who knows? On a more serious note, my condolences go out to Kirby Smart for losing his father and also those that lost their lives on Bourbon Street.
Game over.
I'm just glad this ended up being a compelling game. The first half? Shit, it's about as compelling as watching Jack Doherty videos while tanning upside down. But the second half? Oh boy, that was fucking incredible. It's just unfortunate that both quarterbacks didn't exactly put on a show. They were atrocious, don't get it twisted. As the game progresses, you slowly find out that the loser of this game will just be the team whose quarterback makes that one costly mistake. The game is tied at 17 and Riley Leonard decided to take his mom's pre-game text too hard as he gives the ball back to Penn State. But you can't out-derp Drew Aller, who decided to yeet the ball into triple coverage. Thankfully for you, the idea of full-time referees hasn't crossed the minds of the governing body. You will be allowed to score a touchdown to take the lead. But the Turf Master and Great House having his ankle assassin badge on Hall of Fame tied things back up. As Drew Aller sits back anxiously waiting for his turn on the field, the Penn State defense buckled down and gets the stop. The offense has one more chance to control their own destiny.
As long as 49. Aller hit as he throws, and it is intercepted!
Drew Aller, get ready to learn Chinese, buddy. Why did you have to play hero ball there? Just take the sack and play for overtime, damn it! Instead, the Catholics will silence the narrative that they can't win in key games. As for the Nittany Sandusky's, this game will leave a scar on the fanbase for a long time. You can blame Drew Aller all you want, but don't forget that the entire wide receiver room didn't even have a single reception this game. A disappearing act like no other.
Game over.
Now this right here was a war of attrition. This game proves that Ohio State is mortal. Almost as if they misplaced one of their Infinity Stones or some shit like that. Unfortunately for the Longhorns, we all have figured out that when the game speeds up, Quinn Ewers falters. He doesn't elevate those around him. So what do you get when you have 2 sloppy teams go up against each other? Surprisingly, you get a quite compelling game. Don't let the final score fool you because this game was way closer than it appeared. Both teams took turns delivering blows. And with a 21-14 advantage for Ohio State, Texas would eventually knock on the doorstep after the Buckeyes committed not 1, but 2 consecutive pass interference penalties, putting Texas at the 1. But like a boy pussying out of asking their crush out, the Longhorns decided to not test the Ohio State defensive front and decided to play for the edge. Drive de-fucking-stroyed. The chance you had is now gone, and nobody feels sorry for your ass. Might it be time to have the big boy talking that the SEC might be slightly overrated? You know what, never mind, I'm not opening up that can of worms. Texas, it's time to exit stage left. Get out of my sight. Well, these playoffs were underwhelming. Outside of about 3 games, the contests were just meh. Nonetheless, we have 2 teams standing. Notre Dame versus Ohio State. Okie dokie then. Ohio State took a complete 180 after their embarrassing loss versus Michigan. This team is loaded with talent. $20 million will do that for you. Just like the Costco guy was given 5 big booms. Expect this team to be explosive right out of the gate. Don't sleep on Notre Dame, however. While their path to get here was a cakewalk compared to Ohio State, they didn't get here by accident. Just like Ohio State, Notre Dame also took an embarrassing loss, but this time versus Northern Illinois. Now they are riding a 13-game winning streak. So who do I have winning in this fight? Usually I have to think about it for a bit, but I can't help but take Ohio State here. I simply trust the quarterback and the offense more. And also Notre Dame is dealing with quite a bit of injuries. But I want to hear from you guys. Who do you have taken the crown? Let me know in the comments below. Maybe even subscribe while you're at it. Cheers to a great 2025.